All right, everybody, welcome back to Friends at 5. Tonight, we are just a few weeks away right now from deciding the next president of the United States in what's projected to be a tight race between former President Donald Trump and current Vice President Kamala Harris.
Yeah, after each state votes in the general election, whichever candidate wins the popular vote is the one that secures the electoral college votes for that state. But what if all of those votes were awarded, there was a tie?
Yeah, that's right. Is it possible is the big question tonight. Our Josie Frost is in the studio now with more on how that scenario could play out.
For the Electoral College to tie, each candidate would have to get 269 votes, and there's a few ways that that could happen, and I'm going to show you one. Now, this map is from a website called 270towin.com. What we have here is a map of the Electoral College and the way the votes fell in 2020 when Donald Trump was running against Joe Biden. Now, if we apply that map to this scenario, the red states here are the ones that we would award to Donald Trump, and the blue states would go to Harris. Now, the states in this gray color are some of the swing states, and the way they fall could decide this election. Now, if Harris can take the three states in this region we call the Blue Belt, so Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, while Trump takes these four states, Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina, then that leaves us with Nebraska. Now, in Nebraska and Maine, the electoral votes can be split and awarded to different candidates based on who wins each congressional district. If Maine stays the way it was in 2020, with 3 electoral votes going to the Democratic candidate and 1 vote going to Donald Trump, then that leaves us with Nebraska. Now, in 2020, Donald Trump got all but 1 of the 5 electoral votes in Nebraska. But assuming he can flip that 1 seat and turn the entire state red, that would leave us with our 269-269 split. And this is just one scenario where this might happen. I spoke to Chase Meyer, a political science professor at the University of South Carolina, about what would happen if there is a tie like this.
The key is that realistic, that 269-269 split? And it absolutely is.
Meyer says in the case that the Electoral College splits the vote for president, the decision would fall on Congress. The House would decide the president while the Senate would pick the VP. But he says in the House, each state only gets 1 vote regardless of how many representatives that state has. Each state's group of representatives would have to agree on who to vote for. So the 7 Congress members from our state, for example, would have to reach a majority. And that means South Carolina gets the same voting power as California. He says right now there's close to an even 50-50 split down the House.
If there's no changing of hands in Congress, if no seats change, Republicans have 26 states with a majority. What if Democrats flip one and the Republicans only have 25 states? They can't elect a president.
It would happen in January once the new House representatives are sworn in. Depending on how that vote falls, a tie in the House as well could happen. For example, in Montana, if Democrats can flip one of the 2 Republican seats, leaving them with a 50-50 split.
When it comes to vote, Montana will have to abstain because they won't be able to decide, should I vote for Harris or for Trump? So Montana won't count. That would bring Republicans down to 25.
Now, if the House can't pick a president, then the line of succession would lead to the vice president, which the Senate decides. If the Senate can't pick a president, then the Speaker of the House would become the president. Josie Frost, News 19, WLTX.